Today we're taking a look at a review of the Shuoer Tape in-ear monitors. With the tape, Shuoer aims to bring the performance of electret technology to the budget IEM market. Not to be confused with the term electrostatic, which carries with it a kind of mysticism in the audiophile world. Perhaps it's the driver technology itself. Since the early days of Stax's ear speakers, electrostatics have boasted lower distortion and, many say, better sound than any other type of driver. The main difference between the two is that electret driver include a step-up transformer that allows it to be powered efficiently inside the IEM. For more info, link will be in the description. https://www.head-org/threads/electrostatic.200922. The sound signature is V-shaped. Here are some of the pros. Outstanding detail in upper treble. Good sense of clarity. Impactful bass. Here are some of the cons. Shouty, thin midrange. Lack of coherence in sound. Poor comfort. Comfort and fit. The tape is a blocky affair that grew uncomfortable in my ear faster than I would have liked. Not every blocky-shaped earphone has given me this problem. The Campfire Audio Andromeda, for instance, is quite comfortable. But the tape has a sharp edge that digs into my outer ear, leaving it irritated and sore. Lows, bass. The dynamic driver supplies the tape with a very nice, impactful low end that renders kick drums and other happenings in the sub-bass with aplomb. The sound is typical of a dynamic driver, fat, lively, and very slightly slow, but not enough to be problematic, and in a pleasing sort of way. The transition into the mids is handled relatively nicely, without any incredibly muddying mid-bass hump. The bass of the tape is fairly typical, in a good way. There's not much to complain about here. Mids, vocals. The mids represent my big problem with the tape's sound signature. In aiming for a detailed sound, Shuoer seems to have overdone it, resulting in a very thin and shouty midrange that, given the wrong material, is almost torturous. Thin or recessed mids are always somewhat characteristic of a V-shaped sound signature, and the lower mids of the tape remind me somewhat of the Beyerdynamic DT990 in their tonal quality. That is, when the bass comes up, it can be kind of difficult to tell what's going on in the lower mids. But this does represent a number of people's preferred sound signature, so, though not my cup of tea, it will appeal to some. What's more problematic is the upper mids. Like most earphones, the tape builds to a peak at around 4 kHz, which should lend voices and instruments a sense of presence and clarity. Unfortunately, the 4 kHz peak is pretty sharp and exaggerated in volume. This results in a tone that can sound very shouty, almost shrill, with certain tracks. Combine this with some speed and haze issues in the upper mids and lower treble, and the tape has the potential to sound very unpleasant. For example, the track Sat in Your Lap by Kate Bush, which already has a tendency to sound shouty with some equipment, is like nails on a chalkboard with the tape. Shoutiness is not always a problem for me. My favorite pair of headphones that I currently own, the Audio-Technica AT-AD2000, is known for having a kind of shout that brings vocals forward. But the tape is just too egregious in this regard to be acceptable. It's almost strange to hear such detailed and well-extended treble combined with a shouty and somewhat slower midrange and bass. Although the treble in the tape is quite good, it doesn't quite go together with the rest of the sound signature. Highs, treble. It's a shame that the mids are so off-kilter, because the treble of the Shuoer Tape is quite resolving, airy, and effortless, as some call the electrostat sound. Cymbals shimmer nicely, the details of the stick against metal are rendered well, there is an adequate amount of air. For me, the treble is amazing for its razor-sharp, yet non-fatiguing quality. There is a peak at 8 kHz, which is sometimes audible in sibilance-prone tracks, but the treble has enough speed that the peak doesn't really get fatiguing for me. That said, it's almost strange to hear such detailed and well-extended treble combined with a shouty and somewhat slower midrange and bass. Although the treble in the tape is quite good, it doesn't quite go together with the rest of the sound signature. To make matters worse, the point of disjunction between the dynamic driver and the electrostatic one falls somewhere in the lower treble. This means that, on some tracks, you get somewhat slower lower treble and somewhat faster upper treble at the same time, resulting in a confusing listening experience. What about you? What's your favorite aspect of this IEM, and do you have more that were not in this video? Share your thoughts and comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thank you for watching.